Hello everyone, my name is Matei Rice. I am a senior at SUNY ESF and I am studying aquatics and fishery science with a minor in marine sciences. I like to specialize in aquatic insects because after I took my entomology class, I am in love with it. So today we'll be talking about 3 different orders of insects. Now we'll also be focusing on just aquatic insects. So you may ask, what is an aquatic insect? An aquatic insect is the larval form of many bugs you see flying around. An example is a mayfly, a dragonfly, and anything like that. Sometimes they'll have aquatic insects living right in this type of water body. So today we'll be focusing on 3 different orders: EPT, Ephemeroptera, Plecoptera, Trichoptera. The Ephemeroptera are mayflies, the Plecoptera are stoneflies, and the Trichoptera are caddisflies. There is almost an unimaginable amount of insects in the world. Not only in the world, but just this body of water, there can be thousands and thousands of insects. And they are almost so easy to find, and we'll try and find some today. So, like I said, we'll be focusing on EPT, Ephemeroptera, Plecoptera, and Trichoptera. So, the easiest way to find them, so we'll start with the Ephemeroptera. Ephemeroptera are the easiest way is to look under rocks. And they almost look like little ants crawling around under the rocks. And the closer you look, the more you'll find. Same with the Plecoptera, except many times you'll find them more in faster moving water. And sometimes you'll find the Ephemeroptera and the Plecoptera under logs as well, whether they're waterlogged or just like kind of on the edge here. Some of these trees and logs around here, they'll have Ephemeroptera and Plecoptera on them. Now, the easiest way to find Trichoptera, so the caddisflies, many times they'll build little cases made out that look like twigs, and they're like their little homes to protect them from predators. And they'll be glued on the underside of rocks mostly, and many times in fast moving water where they can catch prey. So fishing is one of my main hobbies, and it is one of my favorite things to do on my time off. So these 3 insects, EPT, Ephemeroptera, Plecoptera, Trichoptera, have all been made by fly fishermen as imitations. So fly fishermen will tie their flies that make them look like these types of larval insects. Now, in the real world, there will be many of these aquatic insects in these streams, and the trout love them. They will eat them. It is a huge role in trout diet. It is a huge role in the insect world, keeping the population at tame. So as we focus on EPT, we like to focus on the EPT richness scale, which means when there's a lot of aquatic insects, a lot of especially Ephemeroptera, Plecoptera, and Trichoptera, that usually indicates a high quality stream. If you're here and you find a lot of taxa of the Ephemeroptera, the Plecoptera, and the Trichoptera, that means there's a high oxygenated water, the high oxygen content, dissolved oxygen. So that is called the EPT richness scale. The more you find, the higher the quality of the water. And I know from experience from sampling this specific river, 9 Mile Creek in Marcellus County, you can find so many of the Ephemeroptera, Plecoptera, and Trichopteras. That means that this water is highly oxygenated and it is a high quality stream. So here we have 2 different types of Ephemeroptera. The easiest way to identify Ephemeroptera or mayflies are the 3 tails coming off the back. Sometimes they're bright red like the example on the top, and sometimes they're a little bit of a duller color like the one on the bottom. Ephemeroptera many times are flattened like the one on the top. See how kind of short and flattened that one is? And the one on the bottom is elongated more. That's sometimes how you can tell the difference between 2 different Ephemeropteras, but we won't get into that today. This is just an example of how to identify an Ephemeroptera. The 3 tails is the easiest way. All right, so here we have an example of a Plecoptera or stonefly. Now, these guys, the easiest way to identify them are the 2 tails that are on the back. As you can see on that one right there, they have 2 tails, not 3 like the Ephemeroptera. Also, another way to identify the Plecoptera, they have shield-like plates on their back. You can kind of see it on that top one there, how they have those plates. These plates act as armor to protect them from predators and other dangerous things in the water. Now, many times, this is not an example of that, but many times you will see Plecoptera have beautiful yellow and brown markings on their head. The yellow can almost be as yellow as an American goldfinch, and it is just a beautiful sight to see. Okay, here we have 2 different types of Trichoptera, or caddisfly. The coolest thing about Trichoptera is they build their own cases many of the times. As you can see here on the right one, the case is right there, and they're made out of leaves, twigs, or rocks. It depends on what type of Trichoptera you're working with. So the coolest thing is that they are silk producing insects, similar to the silkworms that make your ties and silk shirts, but these ones only use the silk to make their homes, which is pretty sweet if you ask me. The silk works as glue to glue the casing together, and many times the silk works to glue them to a rock where they can stay and they won't move for a while because they're protected from predators. Now here's another example of a Trichoptera casing. This one is called the log cabin caddisfly because it almost looks like he built a little log cabin for himself. And the Trichoptera are more worm-like than the Ephemeroptera or Plecoptera. Like I said earlier, these insects can be found almost everywhere. Go search in a stream and you can find almost a whole new world under the water. And that's not even including fish. These are just insects. So what does EPT stand for? Ephemeroptera, Plecoptera, Trichoptera, or mayflies, stoneflies, caddisflies. The EPT richness scale is used with these insects. The higher the number of these insects in a stream indicates the higher the quality of the water, and it also indicates higher oxygenated water. So the next time you see a stream or a body of water, no matter what body of water, you can look under any rocks. So let's say it's a little warmer, it's a little cold today, but if you walk out here and you go look under a rock, many times you can see so many insects. Even here, I have a couple little crawlers. Let's look up close. See that one right there? That's an example of an Ephemeroptera. So next time you're out there, take a friend to the creek, and now you can teach them what a whole new world is under the water.